There is a lot of lore hidden in the long dark, some of which is only recoverable when the lights turn back on. For this video, I will not only be exploring the buffer memories within the Forlorn Muskeg, but I will also be exploring the various notes found across the Bleak Inlet. The reasons are because the Forlorn Muskeg buffer memories are very short, don't have a lot of information, and they are supplemented perfectly by the Bleak Inlet notes. Before I continue, please make sure to comment, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so I can keep making these videos. For this video, I'm going to read the buffer memories and notes in the relative order that I believe they happen. Resort Cannery, Cannery Memo, names scratched out. The old radio tower is supposed to relay the weather, but half the time the damn thing is offline. And since the landslide last summer, we can't even get up the road anymore to check out what's going on. Bert is pretty sure the only way through is on the other side of the mountains, somewhere off the ravine between the provincial park, Mystery Lake I think it's called, and the highway along the coastline. What's management going to do about this? Without a way to check on all the equipment, all the automation in the world won't do us much good out here. I know there's a technician kid someplace on the island attached to that tower company. Maybe they could help us out? And don't forget to get a copy of the workshop store code while you're up there. Illegible name. File name, ComSetupLink1. Look, you'll just have to go out there. If we don't keep this contract, we're done. That's it. File name, ComSetupLink7. He wasn't kidding, this old marsh goes on forever. Swallow me right up. File name, ComSetupLink3. Sector 11 tower failure. Requires remote service. Predator deterrence recommended. Reconnect upon fulfillment. Partner specialist 81926. Echo 1 radio tower, communication report. Request extraction, wolves everywhere, chased out of the Muskeg to the coast, all predator deterrence failed, no food left, going to check out the worksite down below Tower 12 for supplies. Use code 154 to bypass the security doors, hurry! Sector 12 failure, remote service for automated relay, extreme predator threat. Partner specialist 81926. Last Resort Cannery, the technician's notebook. RIA ComSat Canada. Wolves won't let up. I put up a track to get above them, but they won't leave. Most food here is spoiled. Going to try to rig something up in the old cannery workshop, but I'm staring down a deep hole here, guys. Can only hope you reach me soon. Just leave this here in case it gets worse. What we are seeing here is a radio tower technician being contracted to do work on Great Bear Island. The cannery memo is from someone that was working at the cannery and they were complaining that the local radio tower stopped working. The use of the word management makes me think the cannery is still running at this point, but there is a part later on that suggests it isn't. In the first buffer memory, it sounded like the company contracted for the job desperately needed to do it. My guess is that the company was in dire financial strain and needed jobs to stay afloat. It's hard to pinpoint where exactly the technicians started, but I believe they started in the inlet. From there, they made their way to the Muskeg. There, the second and third buffer memories would occur. Although I made a note in the previous buffer memories video that the document name order can sometimes be different than the buffer memory order, I believe that the buffer memory order is the true order here. The reason why is because the laptop used to write the buffer memories was left behind by the technician, who is known as Specialist 81926. I don't know why the document names go from 7 to 3 here. They left the laptop at the Sector 11 tower, which is the radio tower at the west end of the Muskeg. That is true west, not the in-game map west. Based on the numbering, I'm guessing each tower has a number to it. 11 is in the Muskeg and 12 is in the inlet. Logically, that would mean the other two towers in the Muskeg are 9 and 10, but we don't know. Once the third and final buffer memory was made, the technician ran into trouble with wolves. They had no time to pick up the laptop and ran all the way to the ravine. From there, the technician would have to climb down to the lower ravine and make their way to the upper area of the inlet. At the Echo 1 radio station, the technician requests an extraction due to the wolf activity. Their predator deterrence failed, they were chased out of the Muskeg by the wolves, and they had no food left. They decided to make their way to the cannery below the radio tower. With all the expired food there, it is very obvious that the cannery itself is no longer operating. What bothers me is that the cannery memo uses the word management, making it sound like the cannery is still open. The only explanation is that the cannery closed after the memo was written, and the job was fulfilled much later in time. It could have been years later. This should be a good reminder to maybe not eat those canned sardines the next time you visit Fluffy. Although it is very clear that the technician is the one that created the obstacle course around the cannery, it isn't known what happens next to Specialist 81926. After reading these buffer memories and notes, I'm left with several questions. Why are there so many wolves, and why are they so hostile? I believe this is where the previous buffer memories video comes in. In the Mystery Lake buffer memories video, it is noted that an increase in the predator population could have a devastating effect. The writer noted they needed to investigate if someone was introducing more predators to the region. I believe this means that the wolf population, and maybe other predators as well, were larger than expected. We also know from Wintermute episode 3 that timber wolves, which are much more territorial and hostile, can exist all over the island. I would not be surprised if a pack of unchecked and out of control timber wolves were following the technician through the Muskeg and Inlet. Did the technician succeed at repairing the radio towers? I don't know. In Wintermute episode 2, Jeremiah states that the radio towers cross back and forth across the island. If there are 3 in the Muskeg, 1 in the Inlet, 1 next to Milton, 1 in Pleasant Valley at Signal Hill, and 1 potentially at the Mountain Pass weather station, they must be essential. He says they work as signal boosters to make sure that information can reach the next tower. There must be at least 12 of them, but there could be more. Why there are so many radio towers is something that only Jeremiah knows. Speaking of Jeremiah, be sure to check out this lore video that is specifically about him. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so I can keep making them.